Have you ever walked into a crowded place and immediately thought, nope, I need to get out of here? Not because anything bad happened, not because you're scared, just an instant urge to escape. Your chest feels tight, your thoughts get loud, and suddenly, standing in line at a busy store feels like a personal attack. If that sounds familiar, you're not weird, you're not antisocial, and you're definitely not alone. Today we're talking about the psychology of people who hate crowded places and why for some minds, crowds feel exhausting instead of exciting. Let's start with something simple. Most people think hating crowds means you're shy or anxious, but that's not always true. Some people hate crowds not because of fear, but because of overload. Their brain processes more information than most. Lights, sounds, movement, conversations, people brushing past you. For some brains, all of that hits at once. Imagine your mind like a browser with too many tabs open. A crowded place is basically opening 10 more tabs, all with autoplay videos. Eventually, something freezes. That's why crowded places feel draining, not fun. Here's a funny real-life example. You go to the mall on a weekend. You're fine for the first 5 minutes. Then suddenly, your brain goes, why is everyone walking so slow and also too fast? You start noticing everything. Someone coughing, a kid screaming, music blasting, people stopping in the middle of the walkway like it's their living room. Your patience evaporates. Not because you're rude, because your mental battery just dropped to 5%. Now, here's the part most people don't realize. People who hate crowds are often deep thinkers. Their brain is always scanning, reading energy, noticing patterns, picking up emotions. In a crowd, that means they're subconsciously absorbing everyone else's mood. Stress is contagious, so is excitement, so is irritation. And when you absorb too much of it, your nervous system says, okay, this is enough. That's when the urge to leave kicks in. Another reason crowds feel unbearable, lack of control. In crowded places, you can't move freely. You can't slow down, you can't stop, you can't breathe the way you want. For some people, that loss of control triggers discomfort. Not panic, not fear, just a strong desire to reclaim personal space. That's why crowded elevators, packed trains, and long lines feel especially awful. Your body is surrounded, but your mind feels trapped. Now let's talk about social energy. Some people gain energy from being around lots of people. Others lose it. People who hate crowds usually fall into the second category. It's not that they dislike people, they just prefer meaningful interaction over constant stimulation. A deep conversation with one person, energizing. Small talk with 20 strangers, exhausting. And here's where things get misunderstood. Society often labels crowd avoiders as antisocial or negative. But in reality, many of them are emotionally aware, observant, and thoughtful. They just don't enjoy chaos. Crowds feel shallow, fast, loud, and their brain prefers slow, quiet, intentional. Here's another relatable moment. You finally leave the crowded place and get into your car or room. You sit in silence for a few seconds, and suddenly you feel normal again. Relief, clarity, calm. That's your nervous system resetting. It's not weakness, it's regulation. Now let's flip the perspective. Hating crowds isn't something to fix, it's something to understand. Once you understand how your brain works, you can stop forcing yourself into environments that drain you and stop feeling guilty for needing space. You can choose quieter times, smaller groups, shorter visits. You can leave early without over-explaining. You can design your life around your energy instead of fighting it. And here's the interesting part. People who are comfortable being alone in calm spaces often have strong inner worlds. They think deeply, they reflect, they notice things others miss. They don't need constant noise to feel alive. So if crowded places make you uncomfortable, don't assume something is wrong with you. Your brain just prefers clarity over chaos. And once you respect that, crowds stop feeling like a problem. They just become something you pass through, not something you're forced to live inside.